Man, they gotta be going after Project Veritas here soon, right? I mean, Project Veritas, one of the only true journalistic organizations in the country, has now released multiple videos involving COVID at this point. And I can't mention what the first one is, right? YouTube will not let me mention what the first one is, so you can just go and look that up yourselves. The fact I can't mention it on YouTube should probably give you an idea of what it's about. But this one, this right here, is one with an FDA official saying he wants to it's right here, of course, I have the quote pulled up right here for you. Blow dart African Americans with the COVID vaccine is where we're going. Just shoot everyone. Calls for a Nazi Germany style registry of unvaccinated Americans, saying, and this is his quote, think about it like the Jewish star. Now, I used to make fun of people on my side who compared it to a Jewish star, right? I'm all for saying that these measures have been authoritarian, right? I'm all for saying they are authoritarian in nature. But when people said, oh, it's going to be like the Jewish star, I went, nah, they're not going to go that nuts with it. They're going to find a different way to get the same result, but they're not going to go that nuts with it, right? I mean, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. Well, here an FDA official is saying, think of it like the Jewish star. And he's on the side of it. He's promoting it. When your ideas are the same as Nazi Germany, you might want to rethink your ideas. It's always kind of funny. There's an old thing to say towards leftists sometimes, do you hate the Nazis because of what they did, or do you hate what they did because they're Nazis, right? Sometimes it seems like they don't at all hate really, a fascist authoritarian government system like the Nazis have. They just don't like the Nazis because, well, they're the Nazis, right? They don't seem to have any connection to actually the things they did, what makes them evil, what makes them terrible. And this just shows it, right? Where he's literally calling for a Nazi Germany style registry of people and thinking he's the good guy. This man thinks he's the good guy. So they have their conversation down below. So Project Veritas released a second video of its COVID vaccine investigation series today, exposing U.S. Food and Drug Administration economist Taylor Lee, who was recorded calling for forced COVID vaccinations and a registry for all unvaccinated Americans. Lee said the U.S. government policies could emulate Nazi Germany when it comes to COVID vaccines. So this is his quote. Census goes door to door, and if you don't respond. So we had the infrastructure to do it, forced COVID vaccination. I mean, it will cost a ton of money, but I think at that point, there needs to be a registry for people who aren't vaccinated. Although that sounds very Nazi Germany, I mean. Think about it like the Jewish star for unvaccinated Americans, he said. He's for it. He's literally admitting, yeah, you know what the Nazis did, it wasn't cool they did it to the Jews, but for people who are unvaccinated, might make sense. This person's literally on the side of the Nazis. The FDA has a Nazi in its ranks. Good to know. So he continues. So if you put every anti-vaxxer like sheep into Texas and you close off Texas from the rest of the world and you go, okay, you be in Texas until we deal with the pandemic. I mean, I would rather be stuck in Texas with a bunch of unvaccinated people than I would to be in New York with the vaccinated, with all the restrictions going on right now. And mind you, it's going to throw us out here. I'm pro-vaccines. I love vaccines. I think they're great. I keep saying a lot of these things. I just got done giving my kid like 14 different vaccines when he was born, right? I love the idea of vaccines. Love them. I had to get an updated vaccine, or they wanted me to get an updated vaccine before my kid was born. I believe it was for whooping cough or something like that, and I went and got the shot. I had no problem getting that one because guess what? It's been in the system for so long. It's been very well studied. I'm all for vaccines. I think they're amazing. I truly, truly think they're amazing. I think the new forms of vaccines that have been created, I think have a lot of potential in the future. What I'm against is vaccine mandates, right? I'm against mandated vaccines. I'd rather live in Texas Like this person saying with a bunch of people who aren't vaccinated, who just do not have these mandates, versus a place like New York where everyone's vaccinated, which probably means they're safer, but it's forced upon the population. Because I would rather live in a dangerous free society than a peaceful authoritarian one. Because what happens the minute you step out of line to an authoritarian style government? It doesn't have to even be about the vaccine, but once you give them that sort of power, it then becomes dangerous. And the fact that we have someone who's working for the FDA saying this sort of stuff really says a lot. So Lee said due to a large portion of African American community being hesitant to take the COVID vaccine, the solution would be to blow dart them. Blow dart them. I don't know why. It seems a little racist. Does that seem a little racist, using blow darts on the... I don't know why. I don't have a reason why it sounds racist. It sounds kind of racist. So, the FDA official, I think that a lot of the time. So there's also this issue of, I remember reading about how with COVID trials, we were having an issue recruiting African American people. It was because of a different medication the government tried to do that was specifically designed to kill African Americans. Okay, real quick, stop. When people ask, why don't you trust the government? Right there. The government has done tons and tons of messed up things in the past, right? Not just, other governments, but our government has done tons of messed up things in the past. So to say you don't trust the government, I think, is the most sane reaction possible. Of course you shouldn't trust the government. You need to make sure you really check up on them pretty regularly before they become too authoritarian, as we're seeing today. But again, there was at one point, of course, medical trials that were designed that basically were used to kill African Americans. I'm not saying this happens with COVID. I'm just saying in the past this has happened. It makes sense why people who are African American would be a bit hesitant about going to get the vaccine. I've spoken to some of my friends who are African American. Guess what? That's the reason they point to. That they don't trust the U.S. government. And it's hard for me to blame them. I'll be honest. It's hard for me to blame them. But this really sticks to a different point. So even though the COVID vaccine, as we can tell, seems to be very safe. Hear that, YouTube? I'm saying the vaccine's very safe. What about some other medical procedure that comes down the line from here? What about something that comes 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now? I keep hearing the left talk about how Donald Trump was literally Hitler. What if he came out and said, I'm going to mandate you have this sort of medication next? Well, if he wins the next election and says, I'm going to now mandate this medication, are you still going to trust him? Are you going to be okay with that? No, of course not. You're only okay with it when it's your person up there. And guess what? I understand. You trust your person. I trust my person. I get it. I totally get it, which is why I think we should have choice. That's the thing, choice. So the Veritas journalist responded, so it's like a mistrust thing. Yeah, but this thing is safe though, right? Says, the Veritas journalist. Lee responds, we know that now, but again, I think there's still a big mistrust in, it's deep-rooted. It is deep-rooted for good reason. And also, real quick, it's also fair to admit here, this is someone who works for the FDA, who thinks he's talking to someone who's very friendly to him, and he's also saying the vaccine's safe. If the vaccine wasn't safe, I feel like he would be like, well, and we all know it's not safe. No, he thinks he doesn't know he's being recorded. He doesn't know this person isn't friendly to him. He's also still saying, well, it's very safe. There's no reason for them to be afraid of it. I think that does mean something. Now, I know you might disagree. I get it, which is why, again, I'm for choice. If you don't like this vaccine, don't get this vaccine. I think that's totally fair. My doctor recommended me not to get it, so I didn't get it, but I'm not against people getting it, right? I think everyone should talk to their doctor and probably just listen to them. FDA official, in secret, still supports the vaccine. I think that's very fair to say. So Veritas responds, yeah, can't blame them. You're talking about African Americans. And Lee says, I can't, but at the same time, blow dart, that's where we're going. That's where we're going. Now, I doubt he's saying we're literally going to blow dart, people in the street. But I think what he is saying is that he's probably heard some things saying that forced vaccination might be coming down the line. Forced vaccination, right? That is the real issue here, is forced vaccination. really any medical treatment. It's totally up to you if you want to undergo a certain medical treatment. I'm more libertarian in this, where I say that, for the most part, if as long as you understand the risks, take whatever the heck you want to take. I'm very much just, you do you, right? Like, I remember when Trump passed the law that basically allowed people who are terminally ill to actually take experimental medicine. They weren't fully verified by the FDA yet, but they're under deathbed. They have a right to, the right to try act is what it was, right? The right to try act. Fantastic, fantastic bill, giving people the opportunity to try medications that haven't been proven yet, because that's their choice. That's their choice, not my choice. All right? They have full rights to make that choice. So I'm all for, I'm all for people taking whatever medication they wish to take, as long as you also respect the rights of other people not to take it if they choose not to. But it seems to be this, FDA official saying, hey, forced vaccinations, it's a coming. It's where we're going. It's where we're going. So he also said that wealthy white people are more likely to get the COVID vaccine because they are educated, and added he would be willing to force COVID vaccines upon Americans himself if needed. I'm going to go door to door and stab everyone with the COVID vaccine. That's what he does. And make that clear. Oh, it's just your booster shot. There you go. Leah also said the FDA officials can be political appointees rather than actual scientific experts. They're political appointees at the FDA, and are generally scientific advisors or are appointed by the president or the commission. They're being paid based on if the other people are staying in power, he said. So basically, let's face it, what we all know, that bureaucratical systems are corrupt. That's not really, groundbreaking there. Now, the rest going down below is all just basically about Project Veritas and everything about them, right? So, definitely, like it says down there, subscribe to Project Veritas, definitely, right? But man, this is nuts. I'm not even going to go big screen here. We'll just go up here again, because this is just absolutely insane. These people are literally on the side of Nazis. They literally are Nazis at this point. Just because they have a different group of which they want to harm doesn't mean they aren't Nazis. They're literally saying we're going to use Nazi style registries to get people to make sure they are forced against their will to inject themselves with a medication. And this is some scary shit. This just is. This is just absolutely some terrifying shit. And this is an FDA official. This isn't some random person on CNN. We talk a lot about the leftists on CNN and MSNBC, them saying, people should be forced to have the vaccine, and that's crazy. They are crazies. But this is someone who's an FDA official openly saying this stuff. Well, maybe not openly since it's a hidden recording, but who is privately saying that yes, we're going to follow the Nazis' lead on how we're going to oppress certain groups of people and force them against their will to inject themselves with something. I'm just absolutely insane. Thank you, Project Veritas. Everyone should go check them out. Again, they have another video that came out a few days ago that I can definitely not talk about here because of the contents that are in it. This one is still probably walking the line. Again, it's worth saying he was in private. He said COVID vaccines work. He was in private when he said that. So, maybe that, there you go, YouTube. Reaffirming that the vaccines are safe. But what I don't think is safe is when you have a government who is so powerful, they're getting to a point where they want to forcibly medicate its people. That I do not think is safe. When the government becomes this powerful that they are okay, that they have people in power at this point who think like this. And this isn't just, they can say, this is just one dude, he's not even that important. This speaks to a cultural problem at the FDA, right? When you have people talking like this, that means you have this culture probably at the FDA itself. Whether or not this person is making the decisions, it does speak to the culture that's there, which means the people who are making the decisions are around this type of culture all the time. So that's still a problem. That is still a problem. Either way, but what do you think? Should we really be paying attention to some random official? Does it really mean anything? Or does this really speak to, of course, the inner workings of the FDA? As well as, of course, hey, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It does help out a lot. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. What are you waiting for? You know, we don't always do 2 videos a day like we're doing today, but you know, when Project Veritas drops something, you gotta make a video on it, right? I mean, just every time they come out with something, it is groundbreaking, that's for sure. But you know, try to do a video a day. So if you aren't already, please go ahead, subscribe. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and we'll be talking again real soon.